It's Worship Sunday, and today let's take a look at the life of the two servants in the person of Apostle Paul and Silas, who took courage to worship the Lord despite their situation. Their story was told in the book of Acts, chapter 16, verses 16 to 38. During those times, Paul and Silas were accused of throwing the city of Philippi in uproar by advocating customs unlawful for Romans to practice. Pero ang katunayan niyan is ito ay dahil pinalayas nila yung spirito sa isang babaeng alipin na may kakayahang mag-predict ng future na kanilang pinagkakakitaan. This woman keeps on shouting na, "These men are servants of the Most High God who are telling you the way to be saved." At nung nalaman ng kanyang amo na pinalayas ni Paul at Silas yung espiritong ito sa pamamagitan ng pangalan ng Panginoong Hesus, ay gumawa siya ng paraan for these two men to be thrown in prison. But before they were imprisoned, in verse 22, it says here, the crowd joined the attack against Paul and Silas, and the magistrates ordered them to be stripped and beaten with rods. Point number 1, worship amid chaos. They were stripped and beaten with rods. And sa panahon natin ngayon, it can never be called peace. But then, when they are in prison in verse 25, about midnight, they are praying and singing hymns to God. Siguro kung tayo, it's not the right choice kung nabugbog na nga tayo tapos we still pray and sing hymns to the Lord. Tayo po ba mga kapatid, do we choose to worship the Lord amid chaos? Do we choose to worship the Lord despite the bad situations we are facing? Maybe a family problem, financial problem, church hurt, unable to worship physically because of an accident, maybe a loss of a family member, maybe broken in career or love life or in study. Saka lang ba tayo mag-worship kapag maganda ang sitwasyon natin, kapag wala ng hadlang, kapag hindi na tayo nagkukulang, kapag malakas ang ating mga pangangatawan, kapag malaya tayo, kapag wala tayong mga trabaho, kapag komportable tayo? Paano kung hindi tayo mabigyan ng magandang pagkakataon? What if we are also stripped and beaten just like Apostle Paul and Silas and are physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually unable? What if we are imprisoned and everything wasn't just right for us to worship? Will we worship God? Point 2, choose to worship even if you seem hopeless, helpless, and broken. Choose to worship. During the night when they were in prison, maybe Paul and Silas were hopeless, helpless, and broken. Siguro kung tayo ang nasa sitwasyon nila, we are already complaining, grumbling, and doubting. But then, let us reflect and learn from their lives that though they were beaten with rods and were in chains, they chose to pray and sing hymns that even the other prisoners were listening to them. Though they have the right to complain and ask and say, "Lord, why? We did what you want us to do, but why did you let this happen to us?" But what did they do? They chose to worship. I want to end this with a verse from the book of Prophet Habakkuk 3, verses 17 to 19. It says here, "Though the fig tree does not bud, and there are no grapes on the vines, though the olive crop fails, and the fields produce no food, though there are no sheep in the pen, and no cattle in the stalls, yet I will rejoice in the Lord. I will be joyful in God my Savior. The sovereign Lord is my strength. He makes my feet like the feet of a deer. He enables me to tread on the heights." As Tom Curley states, when we are faced with trials and hardships, let us remember that Satan may buffet our bodies, but he can't imprison our praise. That would be all, mga G. May God be praised. Shalom and God bless.